So through the research of what we've done, we realized that there's really 5 key articles that every organization should really focus on writing. Who can guess what the #1 article is?
About us.
About us? Anybody else?
How to?
How to? Cost.
Price. Yeah.
Price. When you go to a website, when you think of anything that you want to buy, what do you want to know? How much does something cost? Yet nobody wants to talk about it. Why don't you want to talk about it?
Because it's a custom project and things are different.
Exactly. It depends.
Depends.
Right? I can't give you a price because I don't know what you want yet. That's the thing that everybody talks about, is that they can't write a cost article because they don't know the details. But yet that's what we all look for, right? When you're looking for something, you're finding information, you want to know how much something costs. If you don't find it on one website, you leave and you go somewhere else and you find it somewhere else where you can. So that's what you want to write. The #1 article that you want to write is how much does something cost in your industry, whatever your services are. Now, a lot of you are probably sitting here going, I can't write that. My industry is so different. No different with log homes. Log homes, there is so many variables that can come into play. So the article that we wrote, this is the #1 lead generating article on the entire website. This article now gets thousands of clicks every single month of people landing on this by going through it. This article does not say how much a log home will cost. Our first sentence in this whole entire article talks about how the cost of log homes depends. But, pardon me? That how much a log home will cost depends on a number of different factors. But we say here are the key factors of what you should consider to help you determine what the price of your home might be. It might be if you live in this region, it's going to be different. Should you use this type of wood? Should it be this amount of square footage? If you have these types of features. So it's not coming out and saying this is how much it's going to be every single time, but you're helping to educate people to say this is what it can look like. So if you're looking at building if you have a website company, or you have photography, you don't need to go off and list your prices on your website, but you can start to educate people to say, this is how much my services cost. Where this is really good as well is that a lot of us get people that will contact us just to get a price quote, and then all of a sudden they say, nope, somebody else was cheaper, I'm gonna go with them instead. This is your opportunity to say why you are a little bit more. Why you are going to be better than that other person. You can help to educate people to say that this is the average cost that you're going to get for somebody that does X. This is what you can expect for this price. Or you can go and you can pay Y, and this is how it is going to be a little bit different. So it gives you a really great opportunity to do that. You had a question?
Yeah, I think you kind of answered it, but like in my industry, there's like a huge range, like sometimes like 1,000%. So
totally.
Would you, and we're like on the higher end of it, right?
Yeah.
So would you kind of educate people and actually say, well, if you're paying below X amount of dollars, you're probably getting like this level of service, and this is why? Like, would you actually put the number, I guess?
Yep. So what we did for them in here, we put ranges.
Okay.
So sorry, the question was,
would you put actual price ranges?
Yeah, would you put actual price ranges into your article? And in this case, we did. So we used an example of, on average, a house will be 5,000 square feet. So this is what you can kind of expect for it, and this is where it can differ. So the same thing as well, where you can be able to say, on an average price, this is what you're going to look at paying for a website. This is what you're going to look to pay for a photo shoot. This is what you're going to look to pay for whatever it is, and say these are the factors that will make it go up. Or it can be a range as well too. And so it's not coming out and saying that this is what your quote is going to be, but it's addressing the conversation. And that's all we want to have, right? Because if you think about the consumer, your buyers are probably sitting at home, curled up on a couch, or right now outside on a patio having a beer, and they're probably surfing a little bit online. They're not wanting to go and to fill out a form or to contact you all the time to get those details. And even if they do fill out a form, chances are the #1 question they're asking when they fill out that form is, how much do your services cost? So if you have this on the website, you are addressing the question to help answer that and to be able to get them to understand if you are the right type of fit for them, because it's just as important to not only qualify them, but to also disqualify your customers as well, so you're not wasting your time trying to convince somebody that can't even afford your services in the first place as well. So some of the example titles that we have found to be probably the most popular, or sorry, the most searched and the best titles to work from if you're looking to create titles is how much does whatever your product cost, price of whatever your product is, and average cost of whatever your product is. So you'll want to do maybe a little bit of keyword research to find exactly what it is for your industry, or even if you go into Google and you start typing in a question and you'll have that autofill form as well too. Those are really good indications to help understand what exactly people are searching for when it comes to your price articles. But this is really, really key and important. And your articles don't necessarily have to be written on content. It can be a video format as well. Video is a really strong format as well, but it's really having that information available on your website so you can really be able to answer it. So instead of them going to somebody else, they're going to you. The next most popular question is a versus. How many of you have ever done a search for iPhone versus Samsung, or know somebody that has? Right? We all do comparison. We all compare product A to product B. And so it happens in your industry as well. So if you have a company that you have multiple different product lines, maybe you're going to do a versus between your own product lines. And if you don't, maybe there's something that's comparable to it. So stop and think about, if somebody were to go and pick your product or service, what's the other option? What would people be comparing it to, and writing an article for that? So again, for Artisan, we did one where it was full scribe versus timber frame versus post and beam, and explaining what the differences are. Now, a lot of you might be thinking that, perfect, this is the opportunity where if I'm comparing my product compared to somebody else's, I get to slam them. That's not the objective of this article. The objective of this article is for you to be able to give a comparison of the both of them. There's ways that you can position it in a way that you can say that if you want these things, this product might be better. If you want these things, this product might be better. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to go off and you don't want to slam somebody else's product. If you do that, you're not going to build a like and trust with people. The purpose of having these articles is to help educate your consumer, for them to feel that you are the right fit for them, to feel that they can know, like, and trust you, and that they can build that relationship with you. So you really want to be as honest as you can with them. Yes?
So what I've understood is that, first of all, be it in the hot sauce world, that you give them the benefit and then the cost. But you're saying first the cost and then...
So the cost article, so the question was to give them the benefit or the cost. So a cost article is the first article you want to write. It is the most important article. So for you, you have hot sauces, you probably have your prices listed right there, right?
And they're on that store.
Exactly. But there might be something that your consumers use a lot when it comes, because your consumers would probably be people that like to cook, right? So there's probably something that they would buy. Maybe it's a crock pot, or maybe it's something that they'd have in the kitchen that would be very common for them to use with your hot sauces. So you might want to do an article that are average prices for crock pots, that you're starting to kind of be able to talk to people a little bit about the prices of that. So with you have prices of your products already listed on your site, so you pretty much have everything listed there. But if you wanted to do a price article, that would be how you would look at it for your... Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yes, question in the back?
Yeah, so I'm doing content writing now for social media, and when we go and look in for the little keywords, the phraseology never includes the word cost. It's like let's say you're writing about, I don't know, your log homes. It might be log homes, how to build with log homes, log materials for homes, and then of course the geographical references. But I've never seen a search phrase that actually, when I'm going to the Google AdWords, I've never seen a search phrase that says cost of, and then the product. So what would they be searching for? Like if you're responding to their searches, why would you worry about writing the cost article if it's not going to be a search?
So great question. So the question was, when you've done keyword searches that the cost phrase has never shown up.
Yeah.
So it's a great question. A lot of people I know have seen this too as well. I'm not an SEO expert, so I'm not even going to pretend to kind of get into it as well. But we've had to really dig down to find out the phrases of what it is, and we have found some of them that have it. But when people go to, it's not even just having it show up in search as well, but it's also when they get to your website, having them be able to find it, because that's what people are looking for. So it's having that information on your website so people can be able to find it. So if the keyword phrase isn't showing up in your top searches, then it's having it still there so that people are able to find it. In our case here, we did a keyword search and we did find that cost and price was I think there was like 260 searches in BC alone for the phrase as well, but you'd have to kind of look and do a lot of keyword work with it. But the main focus of it is that when people come to your site, they want to know how much something costs. And when they don't find it, they're going to go somewhere else and look for it. So having the versus article is going to be a good way for you to be able to offer comparisons, and again, thinking about consumers and what they're going to be looking at. So some sample titles of what, again, tends to work is product A versus product B. Very simple. Comparison, again, product A versus product B, and product A versus product B, which is better. So just doing little things like this by what people are going to be looking at, what would make them maybe decide why would they not choose your product and they would go with somebody else's. So whatever that other product is, doing a comparison article that can talk about the pros and cons of both can be very beneficial to help the consumer understand why you're different. The next one is problem articles. When we all run into a problem, no matter what it is, we go to Google or we go to YouTube. We try to fix the problems ourselves. Same thing happens with the products and services you have. They all have problems. There's all concerns that people have. So it's how can you be able to address those problems as well. If it's with websites, for example, because I know there's a lot of people here that build websites, it might not be that they're building the websites themselves, but what are some of the common issues, the common things that you hear from people when they have problems with their website. Their websites are crashing, maybe their different widgets aren't working, whatever the common questions are that you're hearing that are problems, having articles about that can be able to help. For us, we had just common ones for Artisan that was about protecting your log home from dry rot here. So this is again just thinking about what are some of the problems that the potential consumers might have that you can be able to help to educate them with. A really good company that does a good job with this is what are they called? The Geek Squad team that is with Future Shop. They do a really good job of this, where they have a lot of articles online about how to do quick little fixes with any of your technology, because they realize that even that they do those repairs in-house, they know that their best customer are the people that actually want to be at home trying to fix it first, and when they screw it up, they're going to be the ones that are going to come in to need it fixed there. So people get really concerned by saying, well, if I give away all my secrets, nobody's going to contact me. By you sharing this information, you're going to help to, again, establish that trust, and that when people run into a problem and they can't fix it, they're going to have that relationship with you, and they're going to be able to contact you and ask for you to help them with further information as well. So some common titles that you're going to want to look for are like top 5 consumer complaints regarding, top 5 problems and solutions for, what are the pros and cons? So really breaking it down and thinking about what are some of the common things that people would have can be a great way for you to be generating some of those ideas. So next is best of. And for those of you that don't get this, this is a who wore it best picture. So best of. These are always really popular articles as well. So for here, it's talking about what are maybe some of the latest trends, what are some of the best ideas, or what are some of the best and most inspirational things, some new trends for 2016. So an example for the article that we wrote is, what are the best logs for building my log home? I never would have thought that this would be such a popular article. This is our #2 most popular article on the website. The really interesting thing that we found is that when you talk to designers and builders, they all say that their plans and galleries are their most popular pages on their website. For us, it's now our content. Our cost article and this article outrank our plans and galleries. After these 2 articles, then they get into the plans and galleries. But this is one of the most common problems or common questions that people have that I had no idea that it would actually do that great with it. So it's thinking about what are some of the things that are best of in your industry. So what are some latest trends? What are some of the best tips that you can give? What are some of those key things that you can give away to people to help them be a bit more educated with that? So a couple of article titles are most popular, again, whatever your product or service is, top 5 best, and 5 whatever your product or service is to watch out for 2016. very popular trending topics that people will be looking for. So the next one, which can be a little bit similar to the best of, but is reviews. So reviews is an opportunity for you to be able to review other products and services, maybe complementary products or services as well. But one of the best ways that you can actually deal with reviews is actually to review your competitors. And now a lot of you might think, now I get to slam my competitors. Now I get to talk about other companies. No, you still don't. You want to build like and trust with people. What this article is going to do when you do a review is you're going to find some of the best companies or your competitors, and you're just going to list out who they are, talk about how long they've been in business, if they've won any awards, if they have any specialties, and leave it at that. But what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to generate some traffic for some of those other company names and keywords that they show up for in Google that you never could rank for. So for us, we could never show up for Pioneer Log Homes because they have everything there is branded. So we're in the process right now of doing a reviews article about the top 10 log home builders in BC, and Pioneer is one of them, which will give us the opportunity to be able to rank for their phrases, talk about their show, but we'll have that indirect traffic as well. So it's a really good way for you to kind of go in the back door a little bit and be able to get a little bit of that additional traffic that you might not have gotten other ways. Other types of reviews that you can do is just, again, talking about if you have multiple different types of products within your industry, talking about, again, where it can be beautiful, doing a complete review about them, talking about things that maybe changed, and just, again, kind of giving your overall perspective of stuff. If you're reviewing other people's products, you want to really be careful not to insult them and not to make things sound bad, but really just give an honest feedback, because they probably do have a consumer base, and if it's not for you, then just help them to be educated in knowing that if they want to pay a lesser price or they want something different, you're a fit here, but if they want this, this is where they might want to go over there. So really helping to educate them in a very, very biased opinion that way. So some basic titles that you want to look at is, again, review, and then whatever it is that you're wanting to review. Review all you need to know about and your product or service, and then your product or service reviews, testimonials, and complaints. So those are some good ideas to help you get started with your titles.